Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Stephen here. I'm just kidding, I'm right here. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, Stephen here from Redolescence. Welcome back to another video. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm just having fun here. This is actually a fragrance that was sent to me by my good friend Vincent Dreamhouse, and it's a brand called Ikiryo, and it's a new brand that is based out of California, and I've made a few videos about this brand before, and I fully believe in it and what my friend Vincent is doing. He and I have spent countless hours talking on the phone. He's so passionate about what he does. I'm really excited today to talk to you about a fragrance of his called Lucidite. Now this one is a 2015 release. I'm sure he started working on it long before that. He has worked on over 100 fragrances and he's only released a handful, and I really believe in what he's doing, and he's so passionate about making fragrances, and he started from these little boxes for his fragrances, and now he has these big cylindrical containers. Kind of looks like paper mache. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in the presentation segment, but I want to talk a little bit about the brand, the name, sort of what it stands for. So the fragrance goes by the name Lucidite, and Lucidite is a French name that translates to lucidity, which means the ability to see something clearly, but it can also mean clairvoyance. And that makes a little more sense because all of his fragrances have this sort of supernatural theme to them. Some of them are based off characters that he invented himself. A lot of them are based off characters from literature or fictional characters. Now, the name of the brand, Ikiryo, it's actually a Japanese name, and it translates to phantasm, poltergeist, ghost, apparition. I think in Japanese folklore, it refers to the spirit of a person or the ghost of a person that exits the physical body and goes around haunting people before returning to the physical body. And I think that that's such a cool name to give to a fragrance company, because when you think about it, fragrance is ethereal, and it's kind of like this thing that we have wafting and lingering around our person, right? And people recognize it and they smell it. So I think it's such a cool concept. And not only is he the perfumer for this brand, he's the creative director, he's the founder for this brand. And all of these bottles, the wax melts, the corset, everything here is 100% handmade. He does everything by himself. So I'm really excited to talk to you guys a little bit more about this scent. I also want to say that I would classify this scent as a woody aromatic because it does contain notes of teak and mahogany wood, and it also has the note of cardamom, which is a spice. And let's start things off by taking a look at the cool presentation. So here's the box for this fragrance, and it's more of a cylindrical container. It has a graphic here on the front. Here's the name of the fragrance, Lucidite. It actually has a model on it. And he also hires models because my friend Vincent is in the theater business, and he puts together his own plays and stuff, and he hires models to correspond with each fragrance, which is really cool. Name of the company down here at the bottom with the size and concentration, just a plastic insert at the bottom, and all of these are going to be different colors that correspond to the fragrance. This kind of looks like a branch of a tree or a tree stump. I think it might be paper mache, but it's completely handmade, and it's stuffed with this ivy. Now, of course, it's artificial, but it's so cool because I think from what he's told me, he's going to stuff each of them with a different sort of stuffing. Now let's take a look at the bottle. It's a really, really nice looking bottle. This one has a red corset on it. I want to show you another one that I have in my collection. This one has a purple corset, so he chooses it corresponding to the ingredients contained therein. So this contains a lot of cherry. This contains a lot of heliotrope, so he chose the corresponding colors, and they're really, really cool. On the top, you can also see he put this wax melt, so you do have to pop it in order to open it. And at the very top, you see it has an I in there. The I, of course, stands for the brand Ikiryo, and the distribution on this one is fantastic. You really couldn't ask for much more. Take a look at this. Sprays out a lot of juice, super wide, and that was a presentation for Lucidite by Ikiryo. Now, what you'll get from the opening of this fragrance, as I mentioned in the presentation segment, is a lot of cherry. And the cherry is indicated by the color of the corset on the bottle, all of which is handmade. And it's this very sort of dark gothic cherry. As a matter of fact, I would venture to say that this is by far the most gothic brand that I have discovered in perfumery ever. I mean, all of the models corresponding to the fragrances, the way that the fragrances smell, they all have this sort of haunting metallic finish to them that is actually quite appealing. And I had my wife smell a few of them. There's one in particular that she really likes. It's called Ani Rogan, and I think she and I will be co-reviewing it. But I want to talk a little bit about the smell of this one. It actually opens up with the smell of dark gothic cherry, and it's this haunting sort of cherry note that it smells like a room freshener that I had a long time ago, but it's so much more multi-dimensional and multifaceted. It has all of these layers to it, and it unfolds rather nicely. And that's something that I can say about most of his fragrances, is that they're not linear, they're not unilateral, they're all like the pages of a book, and they're constantly turning as you wear the fragrance. So in addition to the cherry note in the opening, it has a sort of brilliant opening. It has a note of blood orange in it. And I'm not saying that there's something definitively characteristic of that blood orange note that you can tell it's blood orange, but there is a citrus appeal to it in the opening that I find quite favorable. I like it a lot. And then as it starts to unfold, you also have this note of myrrh that's done so well. I know he has another fragrance that he's putting together, and it should be released soon. It's called Âme Torturée, which means tortured soul. And that one, to me, has a note of incense. I don't know if it really does, but I picked up on a little bit of frankincense. This contains the other counterpart, myrrh. And it does have an incensey appeal to it, but it comes across more resinous. And I don't know if that's because of the note of myrrh or because of the benzoin or the styrax, which is another variation of benzoin, but it has a sweetness to it. And that's what I'm talking about with this fragrance, because it opens up with this sweet cherry note, and then it dries down to this resinous sweetness. So it seems like it's the same note lingering all throughout the composition, but it's not. And I like how it has the same vibe in the opening as it does in the dry down, but it turns into a different scent, which is really unique about it. And then it also has a little bit of teak wood and I believe mahogany wood with some cardamom, giving it a sort of unique characteristic and a nice little quality to it, just making it stand out, because I think cherry is one of those dominating notes that it sort of tends to steal the spotlight, and it almost does it with this scent, but not entirely, because it does change. It dries down to something very different, and it smells amazing. It smells wonderful. If you have the chance to get yourself a sample of this fragrance or any other fragrance from this line for that matter, because my favorite fragrance from this line is Rêve de Papillon. And so if you can sample any of them, I would highly urge you to. It's such a cool company, such a cool line. The attention to detail, the fact that it's all handmade. I mean, this guy really focuses on this practice and this art, and he truly does turn it into an art. So I want to finish things off by talking a little bit about the rating. First up, I took a look at the uniqueness and the overall smell, and the overall smell is a very pleasant smell. It has the note of cherry, which I think is a very accommodating sort of fruit note. A lot of people are going to like it, and it's such a unique scent. It's not just like a plain cherry. It's multi-dimensional, it's multifaceted, it has a very intricate personality to it, and I really love the overall smell. My only thing is that it does remind me of this room freshener that I had when I was younger. So maybe it's tainted or stained in that way, but I'm sure the more I wear it, the more I will come around to it. But I do love the smell. It's a great smell. As far as longevity goes, you're going to get 10 plus hours. This is eau de parfum concentration, and you can tell because when you spray it on skin, even with one spray, a single spray, you'll see your skin is going to get really oily, which I think is indicative of the use of high quality ingredients. Projection on this one is no slouch either. You're going to get beyond an arm's length for about 2 hours. Then it starts sitting closer to the skin. Doesn't become a skin scent up until about this 6.5 to 7 hour mark. And I think that that's perfect considering that you can wear this all year round, which brings us to our next category, which is versatility. Very versatile in this one. You can wear it all seasons, all occasions. It's up to you if you want to wear it casually, because the price point is on the higher side because it is niche and it does feature a lot of really good ingredients in here, and just the time and attention to the presentation, I think the price is completely justified. So I just don't know if you would wear it casually, but it is perfectly unisex. I can see anybody of any age wearing it. The cherry adds this youthful appeal to it, but when it dries down with the wood, the spices, the resins, I can see somebody a little bit more mature wearing this one as well. And lastly, presentation I think is phenomenal with this one. And if I were to give this fragrance an overall score, I would give it a 4 stars out of 5. And the reason I give it a 4 out of 5 and not a 5 out of 5 is because of my personal experience with the note of cherry and what it reminds me of. And of course, scent is so subjective. You can have somebody smell it and they'll give it a 5 out of 5, right? So I highly urge you, check out this brand. Make sure you go on the website, get yourself a sample or two of this line. The gentleman is so easy to communicate with too. His name is Vincent Dreamhouse, and I'm sure that that's it's a pseudonym. I'm sure he made up that surname, but he's such a really generous and down-to-earth guy, and the correspondence is very good with him if you do reach out to him via Facebook or on his website. And this is such a cool company. I really believe in it. And Vincent, I just want to mention that I am really excited for your brand, and I know you're going to get in some really, really high places with your brand, and I'm happy to say that I've been here from the start. So guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We will have a giveaway of this fragrance as well as some other really amazing things in the near future, so please make sure you're subscribed for that giveaway, as well as other giveaways, top 10s, unboxings, fragrance reviews, and a lot of other fragrance related content. So on that note, we'll see you guys in the next video. Take care, everyone.